Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Steve Wall, and on behalf of our team, my teammate Kobe Lusky and myself, we're going to present our application, Coastal Reporter. Quick background on both Kobe and I. We are the graybeards of this class, both been around the block a few times, but if you'll see, we've both been involved with applying technological solutions to tackle a variety of environmental challenges. And we wanted to build on that, that's what led us to this project, and we're actually intending to keep this project going beyond class and graduation here, and take it on and run it as a continuing ongoing business when we get out. So what's the problem we're working on? There are a lot of conservation groups out there that just don't have an easy way to interact with the public who is trying to help them out with information. Similarly, the citizens who are out there walking the beaches and shorelines don't have an easy way to submit information to those organizations. There's challenges with the amount of staff. If you have a hotline, that you're often going to get voice reports that are confusing or inaccurate. You can use social media, but there's just a lot of noise on that really is distracting from the mission. There are mobile apps that can do this, but those are expensive. They take resources to keep up and running. And they also introduce a barrier to use. If you don't have the app, you can't take part. That's a really big disincentive. So our solution is let users submit reports just using a text message, a simple SMS text message from whatever kind of mobile phone they've got. We've got basically three populations taking part and touching the system. The first are the citizens who, again, are out walking along the shores and beaches of the country. The second group are largely a lot of non-governmental, non-profit organizations dedicated to wildlife conservation and a variety of causes like that. And then the third are the active members of those organizations who go out and try and remediate what might be happening. And so this is designed to connect all three of those. The use case we're focusing on today is for turtles and turtle conservation. The workflow is pretty straightforward. The user's out on the beach. They got their smartphone with them. They see something going on, a stranded turtle, an injured turtle. They'll take a picture. They can attach an optional text description, and then they just hit send. We're using SignalWire, which is a text processing service, to take the text message in. It passes it on to our server, where we pull off location information from it. We store all the information in a database. We send a quick acknowledgement back to the user that we've received their information. Then we have a web-based client, which is what the organizations are using to access the data. It basically acts as a unified inbox. It's continually hitting the database to get the latest reports. And then if you need to, we'll be working communications capabilities into later versions so that the volunteers can actually reach back out to those who are making reports. The client has three views. The volunteer can use the one that works best for them, a list, a map, or a gallery, access the specific reports that are going on, and then use that to dispatch field people out to the field to take care of the situation. And next up, I will turn it over to Kobe, who will take us through a demo and go over the technical lineup.
Thanks, Steve. We'll be looking at a quick demonstration of our application, and we'll be viewing it from the perspective of a volunteer hotline operator. First thing I'm going to do is log in. Username and password will get us in. And I'll be redirected to the home page where I can view latest news, information, success stories of the conservation efforts. And then as Steve mentioned, I have three views. We'll start with the list view. And the list view will pull all the information from the database of all the latest reports. You can see thumbnails on the left, and we are organizing by date, time created, because text messages typically don't have a subject like you would in email. So we're using date and time. We have the body of the SMS that comes in. We pull the coordinates off the image. So we have a latitude and longitude, and because I'm viewing as a hotline volunteer, I get to see the details such as the phone number and the status, and I can also sort by date and status, or view the individual report, which also leads me to the capability to edit. If I would like to see the information that we have in the database, yes, we'd like to be able to add text reporter and call reporter so we can stay in the same interface and call, text or call back to the reporter. I can also see things in a map. I can scroll the map. I can zoom in on the map so I can see areas of interest. In this case, we're in the Virginia Beach area, which is close to where Steve is. I can click on a marker and I can see the same information within the map view as a pop-up. And again, this information is being pulled from SMSs, and I can also go to the individual report where I can edit. And the last view that we provide is a gallery view, which gives you a visual representation of the images that are being passed in as reports. This gives me the ability to do things like look for turtles that may have been tagged. I can also go in and edit the individual reports. So this is how the system was built. The back end is Django-based with a Postgres database, provides a RESTful API. The front end's React.js client with React Bootstrap and Leaflet.js. We're consuming two primary third-party APIs, SignalWire to handle text messages coming in and out, as well as OpenStreetMaps to display the map view. Although we are using Leaflet.js, which is a framework that gives us the ability to use Google Maps or Mapbox if we choose to. Additional capabilities we provide, Nginx reverse proxy with Acme and Let's Encrypt is a fancy way of saying that we encrypt information between the servers and the clients. We have JOT-based authentication, so you can log in and out. And we also use automatic polling to make sure we've got the latest and greatest information from the database. As Steve mentioned, we are looking at continuing this effort. So we really wanted to focus on setting up a good foundation as a small development shop. So we focused on pair programming. We're using Docker containers for development and production to give us a consistent experience, test-driven development using PyTest with Django and Cypress and React on the front end. We're using GitHub repositories, and we deploy using containerized system to DigitalOcean. With this solid foundation, we're hoping our next step is to use continuous integration and deployment via GitHub Actions and Docker Hub. Our big lesson learned from this experiment. Murphy had a lot to say about being able to pull EXIF location information from photos shared via SMS. Between iOS and Android devices, there are a lot of different privacy settings, location settings. Sometimes the data would get through even with the correct locations and the data was in the wrong format. So we found a lot of challenges and inconsistencies trying to use this. It all, and ultimately found one phone out of 6 that we tested that could reliably submit the location data that we needed in the format that we needed it in. It all added up to a pivot required. And the good news is we have a few more steps we can take to see if we can't get the location information the way we want it. The first one is to reply to the SMS asking the user to share, explicitly share location via SMS. Both iOS and Android have features to allow you to explicitly share your location via text. Although we do feel there would probably be a requirement for many to have linked to instructions, which could be done via YouTube video or similar methods. We might possibly be able to use something like React Native to develop a mobile app for both Android and iOS, and possibly leverage other apps and services such as WhatsApp that allow for geolocation. Ultimately, we're looking to move towards a unified inbox and workflow, a single source of truth for conservation organizations who run a hotline, possible integration of email, voice while staying inside the web client, social media integration, and all while balancing the amount of effort that it takes to bring in additional reports and make sure it's validated, actionable information. And we'd also like to look at the ability to support multiple organizations with the same system. Many of these organizations are cash-strapped, and we think if we could introduce report categories and allow a per organization workflow based off of category, context, and location, we could potentially spread the cost of development and support across those organizations while providing an organization-specific experience, and even possibly break data out of siloed systems so we could start to see larger trends across geographic areas. That completes our presentation for Coastal Reporter. Steve and I are looking for partners to push this effort forward. If you would like to contact us, you can see our emails on the screen. Do I have any questions?